Yeah, we suck right now. The culture is actually like, I'm just praying for the Lord to deliver me from the pick sixes.
As the new NFL season officially begins with the start of free agency, there are unfortunately some things we must go over. New rules. As with most things the league has done, it's allegedly meant to improve the game, but some of them have led to more controversy than not. One of these changes that totally won't cause this is the banning of the hip drop tackle. Any infraction called by officials will now be 15 yards and an automatic first down. Another judgment call penalty in a league plagued by them. Oh, wonderful. The replay booth can now review instances of roughing the passer and intentional grounding. But knowing how well the pass interference reviews went, my hopes aren't high. What could be ironically useful are the new kickoff rules. They had to do something about them. The kickoff had been relegated to nothing but touchbacks for the most part. If you watch the XFL this past year, there'll be a slightly modified version of them. The kicker kicks off at his 35-yard line, and the kickoff special teams line up at the opposing 40. All but two players on the return team line up at the 35-yard line, not to move until the ball is received by a returner. The goal for the kicking team is to hit it in the landing zone, between the 20 and the goal line. If a ball lands or goes out of the end zone for a touchback, the ball is spotted at the 30-yard line. If it goes out of bounds, it's spotted at the 40 like it was before. Onside kicks also must be declared, thus eliminating surprise onside kicks. We'll definitely be complaining about these things in the future, but their newest gift to us comes with 2 games on Christmas. Wednesday football is back after a 4-year hiatus. The NBA is seething in the corner. Seattle, did you remember to set your alarm clocks on time? To be fair, they didn't have unbelievable priorities in free agency this offseason, but considering how much the Seahawks lost to other teams, not to mention cutting the likes of Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs, was I wrong for thinking there'd be some urgency? They were able to re-up Noah Fant and Leonard Williams at the very least. Plus, I like Sam Howell as a backup option / project QB. He didn't cost a ton either. I'm more or less surprised they've been relatively quiet in the offseason. It's mostly bargain bin moves like Jerome Baker, Tyrell Dodson, and Rayshawn Jenkins. But despite Seattle's offseason so far, time is on their side. There's been a lot of moving and shaking so far, and there will be plenty more to come.
Seattle Seahawks select Byron Murphy, defensive tackle, Texas.
Seattle had horrible issues with stopping the running game last year. Far too often they were blown off the line and gave up significant gains to their opponents. They need bulls in their interior. Byron Murphy will join forces with Leonard Williams to possibly rectify part of this dilemma. It's a new age in Seattle without Pete Carroll, yet the pride in team defense has never left the Seahawks. Last year was deeply concerning in so many aspects. And this is especially true with how they got destroyed by offensive lines. They pray they can turn the tide. Is Seattle gonna stop teasing us and reach the next echelon that we were thinking they could be? Or will it be continued stagnation? After coming up short, they're picking up the pieces in many ways. The defense has gotten quite the overhaul, especially in the safety ranks. Hey, you win some Russ trades, you lose some Jamal Adams deals. It happens. They're doing anything to try and stop opponents running all over them. It was their undoing. It was all but the impetus for their overhauling. Can we finally have a healthy and fully functioning secondary? Please? Seattle has quality team upside, but are they really a Super Bowl contender? I'd say maybe if the 49ers suffer horrific plague again this season. 2024 is a reset from the stale ending to Pete Carroll's tenure. I'm still surprised they cut bait, but I'm interested to see what Mike McDonald does here. He built great defenses in Baltimore. Can he do it in the Emerald City? They better hope he can. As you can tell, things are a bit less linear than in the past. New suitors are eager to stake the claim from the usual suspects. Yet the ones at the top will only relinquish such honor from their cold, lifeless hands. I think this year is a little of both. The NFC East has always been a conference that changes hands every year, so the Eagles will reclaim it for themselves. As for the NFC North, different story. I say Detroit reclaims it, but a few teams are hot on their tail. The NFC South, the conference we wish could be a race, goes to Atlanta simply by no Arthur Smith. And the NFC West, barring horrific injury, will be San Francisco's to lose yet again. Wildcards are a much trickier guess. Yet I believe that Green Bay, Dallas, and Chicago take them. There are more than a few teams that I consider for these 3 spots, so I'm not dismissing them at all. But the NFC's just weird like that. It'll probably be wonkier than I expect. Broncos fans were huffing that hopium so hard this preseason I had serious concern for their well-being. At least you can say it was justified about their defense in a way. Shutting down the Hawks offense with 2 suffocating safeties in the first half put together a shocker. Who the hell needs offense when Seattle's bumbling around like this? The only problem is that Denver needs to score points of their own. They have Bo Nix. Unfortunately for them, they got the Auburn version of him. The SEC didn't call him Mo Picks without cause. Thankfully, his bad throws jarred the Seahawks to remember they have an offense and called in the K9 unit. It was kinda ugly, but Seattle hangs on and manages to sneak out of their home stadium with a dub. It's fucking Denver, you better beat them with their gutted roster. Back to reality, Broncos fans. All I'm gonna say is that Kenny Pickett also had a good preseason once. Enough said. It isn't Seattle football without giving their fan base a bunch of unnecessary heart attacks just for the fun of it. New England may be a rebuilding team with an incredible lack of talent, but they play hard and minimize mistakes. Dialed in under Gerard Mayo, and that's all they really need to play spoiler. The Patriots have become lantern flies, invading and swarming every nook and cranny imaginable. You're gonna have to put up a fight to win. And combined with the Seahawks' cardiac nature, it's no wonder this is tighter than DK Metcalf's chiseled body. Splash plays mixed with a defensive struggle. New England's offense lacks talent and Mike Macdonald knows how to stop it. Seattle's offense, hit or miss. Mostly miss in the second half. A lot of missing, actually. The Patriots have plenty of chances to take hold. They even command the lead with a methodical drive of their own. But one more mistake-free series can clinch it. Unfortunately for Foxborough, Seattle then remembered they had a defense and sack Brissett on a 3rd down. Their kicker's Joey Sly. They'll miss the field goal. We need more heart attacks, damn it! The Seahawks will finally unleash some semblance of offense, doing just enough to tie the game with the standard Seattle flair. Overtime. Oh, dreaded overtime. The Seahawks save their fans. They make this a bit easier, forcing a New England punt and chipping away at the withered remains of the Patriots' last stand. Gino himself commanding a final drive of the dagger to escape from hell itself.
Myers from 31 yards out. Dixon places it down. And the Seattle Seahawks go to 2-0.
You want this to be a normal football game? With the Seahawks? That doesn't exist in their rulebook. There will only be volatility eternal. Even with a good effort by New England. Miami's DOA. The only fight they're showing without Tua is Jalen Ramsey fighting DK in pregame warm-ups. People shit on Tua for being overrated, but without him, the Dolphins are absolutely useless. Stripped bare like a man's ass. Skylar Thompson starting. It's over. In the rarest sight in the league, the Seahawks had a game where they weren't unbelievably cardiac for no reason. It was only a slight murmur or two. DK Metcalf was victorious in his skirmish by burning the defense for a long TD. Zach Charbonnet did the rest. Even with the numbing loss, it only gets worse for Miami. Skylar Thompson is also down with injury. They must rely on... How the fuck is Tim Boyle still in the league? The NFL's answer to affirmative action. He's done nothing and still gets work over better options. That's how far things have fallen. That may also include the Seahawks being 3-0. Mike Macdonald can run a defense. What a surprising revelation. I can see why the NFL wants to have 2 Monday night games. If one game ends up being unwatchable slop like the previous affair, there's another chance to roll the dice. The league can't lose eyeballs, so they apparently transferred all of today's offense here. What we got was a fantastic air show, showcasing the talents of 2 franchises eager to rise to the NFC elite. It's going to be a battle of who has the most firepower. And unfortunately for the Seahawks, they don't seem to have enough of it. Remember my criticisms and concerns about Detroit's offense last week? The Lions must have heard them and told me to eat all of the shit. I think it's been finally revealed to its full potential. With might and strength, the Motor City roared throughout the 100-yard field in ways we more than expected. Jared Goff was perfection. Absolute perfection. I'm not even being facetious, he didn't miss a single pass tonight. He even flaunted his receiving prowess with a Philly special. Seamless execution, the Seahawks defense had no chance. A 3-0 team, albeit with a soft early schedule, was laid to heal. The Lions made an example of them by not making mistakes. Seattle had an early fumble and a failed red zone drive resulting in a turnover on downs. That's all it took. The Seahawks were good, but Detroit was flawless. Can't outgun that, sadly. The Lions should have generated more game balls. How did Goff not get one for his performance? behold the might of the Derp. A team that will shockingly execute competent offense without Malik Neighbors or Devin Singletary. A team that will get down to their opponent's goal line. A team that will fumble it away to the eager hands of a defender that runs it the other way for a 100-yard scoop and score. Oh, these G-men are as useless as their namesake with 5 times the amount of bloat. Yet even their failures cannot comprehend the scope of Seattle's cardiac nature. Them playing a clean game is rarer than Pike Place not throwing a fish. Good work, Seahawks, you're throwing the game. What's a clean pocket? I don't know. Gino's dying behind the wrath of this defensive line. Their defense was overhauled in the offseason at the hands of a guru. They should keep overhauling, this iteration isn't it. Getting beaten repeatedly at the hands of Danny Derps, Darius Slayton, and Tyrone Tracy. In their effort to generate heart attacks aplenty, Seattle chooses to fuck up repeatedly. Critical fumbles by DK, going for it at their own fucking 35-yard line, surprisingly standard Seahawks stuff. Yet New York chooses to look this gift horse in the mouth. Despite a cushy 10-point lead, the rubber banding will commence. Seattle is beginning their comeback, and the inevitable Derp feels closer than ever. Oh great, the Giants ripping defeat out of certain victory. I've seen this movie a billion times, I don't have to say much else. Go and tie the game, Seattle. Congrats on escaping hilarious failure to 4-1.
Here's to tie the game at 23. It's blocked. Isaiah Simmons picked up by Bryce Ford Wheaton, and he is gonna go.
So the Giants didn't Derp? They won a hard-fought game on the road against a playoff contender? Huh. Must have changed the script on me for the final release. NFL does tend to keep you on your heels like that. This is for supremacy in the NFC West, but it feels so much weaker than that this year. What we see now are 2 hobbled franchises. No health at the skill positions for San Fran, no health in the secondary for Seattle. And it would get worse for them during the game. In front of the 12s, the Seahawks ended up exposing themselves for every flaw in the book. One of the more porous defenses in the NFL, terrible at stopping the run, unable to run themselves anymore. It's a disaster that only got more agonizing. San Francisco was giving them every chance in the book to come back. Come on, Seattle, you can do it. We've blown double-digit leads twice this year. Join them in victory. The Seahawks respond with the worst performance Gino's had all year and gobs of untimely penalties. 3 straight losses on a defense that surrenders like Cornwallis at Yorktown. Seattle, you're in such shit you don't know how deep you're in it. The Niners won with Brock Purdy barely breaking a sweat with spare parts, and they did so with relative ease. That's damning. But don't think you're getting out of this one, boys. Another dub means more injuries as penance. You like Jordan Mason? What Jordan Mason? I don't see anything like him around. He'll be starting some dudes from the beer league in week 9 who will tear their ACL in the first quarter. Apparently the way to get Seattle to play to full potential is to yell at them in a video. Where the hell has this been the last few weeks? A strong and balanced offensive attack? Gino returning to form? DK not grossly underachieving? The defense being opportunistic? It feels like I'm watching a different team. And it was sorely needed. The NFC West is ripe for the taking. And snapping out of a cold streak was just what the doctor ordered against a strong opponent. Then again, it is the Falcons. God damn it, Falcons. Can you please be consistent for like 5 minutes? You didn't just lose to a squad that was 4 for 11 on 3rd down. You got crushed by them. Look at all these chances to come back. They're squandered endlessly. How the hell do you make the Seahawks defense look stout? They've been a mess for the last month. Every time I think Atlanta's finally turning the corner, the Falcons reinforce the old stereotype and curl up into a ball. Who needs winning when you can simply give the ball to the opponent ad nauseum? Seattle takes everything they receive and secure a much-needed win. But Atlanta gets the real prize, the long-awaited debut of Michael Penix. You had momentum, Seattle? That's funny, all I'm seeing is a team getting run over by a stampede. That might be putting it nicely. Consider them like a fish caught off the pier, suffocated of air and life, skinned alive at the butcher's table and sold to tourists at a sizable markup. Buffalo will feast at the table of kings. Josh Allen and James Cook get first dibs. Everyone else will have all to their heart's content once Gino trips on his own goddamn lineman at the 1-yard line. Game can't be cardiac when the Seahawks don't have a chance. No running game, no ability for Geno to do anything, no defensive support. Outclassed on all fronts. As easy a win for the Bills as easy gets. You had your chance to stake a claim for the NFC West and it may have gone to the wayside. The 12s were thrashed in the waves of a Puget Sound storm surge. Every time I'm interested to see what the Seahawks do, they implode on themselves. An inconsistent second-tier franchise indeed. Good work on the dominating win, Buffalo. There's one thing I'd all but guarantee in the NFL world, it's the Seahawks never ever playing a normal football game. Reeling from whatever the fuck last week was, this was a must-win affair against the hated rival. One trying to salvage a season overtaken by injuries and insolvency. The Rams may have players returning, but the only thing Seattle gives them is a sense of inferiority. This game itself is inferior. In the house of the 12s, there's just a lot of stagnation. Mainly from the Seahawks repeatedly shooting themselves in ways that would make Plaxico Burress cringe in disgust. LA's gonna keep it as close as they can in a tepid, low-key game. Seattle can do much of nothing for long stretches minus splash plays by JSN. Even then, the game's tied at 13. Geno and the Seahawks are moving the ball with a chance to take the lead. Near the goal line, they can make their strike.
First and goal from the 6. Smith can't find anyone. Backpedaling. Throws picked off. Intercepted in the end zone and brought back out. Geno Smith picked off by Kitchens.
I was under the impression that Geno was good. What the fuck was that? Seattle special teams can even block a punt, generating more hope and a chance to tie the game. Inside the 5 yet again, and Smith goes back to his Jets form. I think the Geno magic is gone. To be fair, it's expected from a team that exists to give their fan base heart attacks a repeat. It's the same shit over and over again. The Rams can bury them, but are unable to get past this defense. But as I said, the Seahawks must be cardiac. That is the only way they know things. The heart attacks must continue thanks to their final drive.
From the 14 on first down. Smith to the end zone. Smith and Jigba. Touchdown!
Turns out Jackson Smith and Jigba's really goddamn good. Maybe Geno has some magic left in him after all. Like anything resembling Seattle's ambitions, it's going to be warped in the chaos realm that is overtime. The Seahawks will get ball first. Continue to punish a battered team to hell and back. Until they get to the red zone. The passing game's been working for you? Don't care, run the damn ball to minimal success. And then 4th down, you're going for it? In overtime? And you're running that play? Are you brain damaged? Just take the points and trust your defense. Not that it matters since Matthew Stafford's dicing up this papier-mâché D like it's nothing yet again. Maybe that's why they went for it. Just finish them off. Make these fools suffer in the shit stew they made.
Second down and 6. Fake to Williams. Stafford fires downfield. For a touchdown by Robinson. The Rams win it.
That's it. I'm done with the Seahawks. They're a bunch of fucking frauds like they were last year. So many self-inflicted wounds they'd be 3-1-2'd in the real world. Get the fuck out, Seattle. Get out. Don't come back until you learn how to play a normal football game. LA, thank you for exposing these fuckers for who they are. Your reward is a division led by Arizona? God, what have you done? Divisional bragging rights are on the line. Both teams are struggling to launch, but their playoff ambitions are still in sight. Yet a loss here would be devastating for both, especially Seattle. The last loss against the Rams was agony-defying, and it's happening again today. The Seahawks can't solve this relentless 49er defense. Geno's suffering a world of hurt and can't do much of anything. He and this offense are stuck in neutral. And it's a shame since the Niners are being stuck in the same trap, but it just feels hopeless. This is a game Seattle needs. Yet San Francisco looks to be pulling away in the second half. Only one problem. Nick Bosa's the next victim on the hit list. Taunts the gods, so he suffers an oblique injury and didn't return. The floodgates have opened. Clamping down on the Seahawks will no longer be an option without the relentless pass rush. Geno's slumber will cease. We'll finally drive the offense to life again. A touchdown to retake the lead, and we have a game in Santa Clara. The Niners offense, led by a revival of talent and some health on that end, are able to break the Seattle defense in the art of war. They'll drive down the field and retake said lead. Even better, their defense without Bosa manages to hold the fort. Third and fourth and short are stopped by might for a turnover on downs. All the Niners have to do is bury their opponent. And they can't. They just can't do it. The Shanahan curse is real, and it inflicts maximum damage at the worst possible moments. Or maybe that's Geno incinerating this defense on a masterful final drive. Dinking and dunking with masterful clock manipulation in a sea of hate and fire. And he alone will drive the stake into this evil's heart.
Under 20, Smith back to throw. Smith takes off. Geno Smith, end zone ahead. Touchdown Seattle.
The anguish must continue. Every chance for the Niners will be repeatedly cut down above the knee. It's the horrible fate they endure. Talent unable to fully vest into form. Losing what should be winnable games thanks to crumbling execution and injury. The Seahawks gave everyone even more heart attacks, but for a different reason. Reviving from the dead. Potentially saving their season in desperate fashion. May have some hope after all. I'd yell at them to be normal, but we know that isn't happening with Seattle. This was a game. That's all I'm gonna say about that. In what's looking to be standard operating procedure in most of these contests, both offenses played like complete shit. Defenses merely crushing the little bits of straw and string being thrown at them in vain. Endless failed drives with the occasional field goal by Arizona. Seattle had one strong push, and apparently all they need is for Jackson Smith and Jigba to carry this team on his back. Yet this duel came down to one play and one alone. On a fourth and short, Kyler thought he was Kareem and skyhooked a ball 5 feet over the receiver into the loving hands of a disciple of Boom. He took it the other way for 6. Oh, Kyler, why are you such a total cock tease to us all? This offense wasn't doing much of anything, particularly in the red zone. So congratulations to the 12s on their win, I think? The defense finally got it together at least. Know how awful the NFC West has become? The Seahawks now lead it. A team that was dead in the damn water after pissing away the Rams contest now controls their own destiny. This division has become the epitome of ass. The only saving grace is that the NFC South is just as bad. This game wasn't just drunk, it had been in the corner blacked out for hours. Drinking 6 dirty martinis beforehand and drowned itself in cosmos throughout the affair. Stumbling through handles of vodka like the Seahawks special teams stumble around. They saw the horrors of Titan special teams and wanted to one-up them. Simply standard Seattle things. A broken play leading to a 99-yard return touchdown by Kene Nwangwu. 2 fumbles on kickoff returns. That's just the average game for these boys. If you didn't expect a heart attack from them, you're either a neophyte or an idiot. That also goes for the Jets. You have a 21-7 lead headed towards another payday. Twilight Aaron Rodgers happened, horrifically overthrowing a wide-open Garrett Wilson, followed by a gift right to former Jet Leonard Williams. The greatest blessing in the NFL. Thick 6. We shall officially dub this day as Leonard Williams Day as he conquered his former team with ease. What do you want me to say? The Jets suck. We've known this for weeks. After that Nwangwu TD, there was nothing from their offense. Silence. No points on the board for almost 3 quarters. Devontae Adams was the final piece. They don't even have a fucking foundation. Now it's just hoping the defense can hold their own. For at least one goal line stand. Be awful nice if the offense could respond in kind. Not with a fumble. Cough that shit up like it was phlegm. With it now being a 2-point deficit and Geno Smith eager for revenge of his own, all it's gonna take is a defensive collapse to do it. Seahawks 4th and 6 incoming. Cue a too many men penalty on the defense. Then amplify it with defensive pass interference to undo a turnover on downs. 4th and 1 stop? You mean a horse collar tackle. You think this is a fumble? How cute, that's actually an incomplete pass. And then Will McDonald's offsides. The defensive collapse is complete. Seattle steals the game away when they had no business winning. Worst of all, DJ Reed's response to this is to blame the refs? Really? You're 3-9 and the team had 12 penalties, my dude. Your offense is pathetic. Nope. The ref ball was bad, but that's merely a symptom. New York is awful. Maybe those rumors of them putting Aaron to pasture might come true after all. Seattle is 7-5 in the most hilarious way possible. Once again, standard Seahawks things. It's that time of the year again, when the playoffs start to peek into the picture and we discuss the scenarios at hand. The NFC's a bit tighter. The Motor City currently leads the pack, but Philly's hot on their tail. The division ranks are pretty safe otherwise. Seattle and Atlanta hold claim to some very weak conferences this year. That means Minnesota and Green Bay have the potential to feast if the cards fall right for them. Washington got off a cold streak and comfortably hold the final seed in the meantime. At 6-6, the Bucks, Cardinals, and Rams still have a shot, especially in their divisions. Meanwhile, San Francisco, Dallas, and New Orleans are clinging on for dear life. And I mean it. There's been a lot of disappointment for teams this season, but there's still a chance they remembered the rules.
Don't get eliminated!
This has somehow become a battle for the NFC West. Stranger things may have happened in a time long lost to scribes, but this is definitely a situation incomprehensible to the logical mind. Perhaps this also relates to Kyler Murray as an athlete. All the talent in the world, but he keeps throwing it away to the other team with terrible interceptions. The cock tease burns them again. These repeated fuck-ups in the early game undid Arizona and their dreams of divisional glory. Personally, I find it amazing that the Seahawks of all teams have a strong chance of hosting a playoff game in January. The NFC West has become a shithouse full of injuries and failure, and Seattle simply fell to the ground and found a bountiful harvest next to them. I wonder if the Cardinals will find a way to stop Zach Charbonnet. Perhaps in a different timeline? If they did, Arizona may not be seeing their sudden surge go to the wayside. This loss was brutal for any chance of this stunning playoff berth. There's been progress in Glendale, but not enough of it. They have to ask themselves some deep questions about the franchise, and Arizona might not like what those reveal. Get yourself some mirror and gaze at the imperfections. Seattle will buy it for you guys. Hell, they'll pay for the shipping too. 1 month left. Get your tickets to the postseason ready now or be left out in the cold. We know the drill by now. The NFC's road is still undecided. Detroit stays ahead with a crucial win over Green Bay, but Philly and Minnesota are still hot on their tail. Thanks to Atlanta's catastrophic implosion, Tampa Bay has reasserted itself for the NFC South lead. The Seahawks still remain on top of the NFC West, but things could be getting shaky there with a loss on Thursday. A bye week for Washington maintains their 7th seed, yet rivals remain. The Rams and Niners want in. There's a chance the Falcons could get their shit together. Arizona could make miracles happen. Probably not, but you aren't out of the dance until you hear the dreaded words told to a few teams already. You know them by heart.
Don't get eliminated!
Something tells me that this played right into the Packers' hands. Seattle had a chance to make a statement and they just fell apart and revealed themselves as a team without clothes. The Seahawks couldn't even manage to get to the thrift store to stitch up some cloth. They were flattened into a tortilla shell. Then their entrails stuffed into a burrito to be served up to drunken Wisconsinites. Humiliate them early, do it often, and never look back. This game was over at halftime. Even with Seattle's cardiac nature, there aren't enough volts in this defibrillator to get them back in the game. And then the doctor declared them dead. Geno Smith went down. Say what you will about his inconsistencies of late, but without him, the Seahawks are fucked. Sam Howell and his Costco bulk of turnovers aren't going to do much of anything. In fact, he's not even going to do that. Green Bay dispatches Seattle in an absolutely devastating loss if this is a long-term injury for Geno. Everything lining up for them before what could be their funeral. The Seahawks may be fraudulent, but if they can't generate any sort of offense moving forward, you may as well kiss their hopes goodbye. The Packers keep pace in a gauntlet of a division. Seattle, though, potentially as done as a fish at the market. 3 games remain. This week was critical in deciphering the playoff formulas, but it doesn't mean that we're anywhere close to a solution. The number 1 seed in the NFC is now a 3-way tie. The Lions still have control, but the Eagles and Vikings are hot on their tail and coming fast. Philly can also claim the NFC East with a win or Washington loss, but the Eagles aren't going to implode, right? The NFC North is a mosh pit, made even more so by the attrition on Detroit. Minnesota or Green Bay could easily take it, but the NFC South is Tampa's to lose. Hopefully they won't choke it away like Atlanta did. The NFC West is between Seattle and the Rams with the Cards and Niners on life support. This division probably gets settled with a Week 18 showdown. The wild cards are all but set and can be officially claimed if Green Bay wins and Washington wins and gets help. The NFC especially is going to be a ride moving forward. Get ready. These words are going to come in handy.
Don't get eliminated!
Everything has to be proven today. One team needs to keep pace in a breakneck division. The other needs to hold off hordes of zombies breaking down the doors of their NFC West lead. Even in the home of the 12s, Minnesota will unleash everything that makes them a true contender. I hear every time Sam Darnold throws a good pass, Adam Gase loses his mind just a little bit more. Perhaps Seahawks fans are also losing their mind. After several weeks of Charbonnet unleashing a strong rushing attack, and you don't use him? Hey, Nine's back, sure, but they ran Julian Love earlier than Charbonnet. Their offense is a healthy dose of Geno and more Geno, which is enough to make it a close contest. Yet it feels like Seattle isn't playing to full potential, and you can't do that against these Vikings. Sure, the Seahawks have the lead in the middle of the fourth because they managed to run the ball for once. Also, thank you very much, Geno Smith, but Seattle's caving again. A sack undone by a defensive face mask. God damn it. Here comes Sam Darnold with the punishment.
Off play action. Stepping up. Launching downfield. And it is caught! Twisting, turning, touchdown! Jefferson! Minnesota's back in front!
Jesus, Sam, there's no need to be that deadly on one leg. That bomb pretty much won them the game. At that point, Brian Flores threw the damn house at Geno and they couldn't recover. A missed 60-yard kick out of desperation and a Geno pick in desperation. Just make Kevin O'Connell coach of the year. Minnesota's fighting through everything thrown at them and now has a chance at the number 1 seed in Week 18. Unbelievable. And a testament to resilience in the face of fear itself. They could have broken but refused and are being rewarded. But Seattle might have lost a chance in January with this one. It's still a possibility, but the Rams have strength of victory all but in hand. It's going to be a challenge moving forward. Better hope the Cardinals want to play spoiler against them next week. The time has come to crunch. We're nearing the finish line. And there's still plenty of positions at the round table to play for. The NFC East is still in play after Philly's shocking upset at the hands of Commies, but they aren't going to blow this, right? But the NFC North and number 1 seed are intertwined. Lions and Vikings battling it out in the Great War of Life. Take a guess who plays one another in Week 18. This is where both are probably going to be decided. A curveball's been thrown into the NFC South. Tampa's loss and Atlanta's win make it all but a coin flip. But the Falcons have tiebreakers, so the Bucs are going to need help. LA now has firm control over the NFC West, especially since they have tiebreaker. They're going to need to lose twice and the Seahawks win twice for Seattle to make it. They do play in Week 18, though. Washington's pretty much got the last NFC wildcard spot, so the options are dwindling. Don't be left out in the cold, NFL world, lest you suffer the greatest humiliation.
Don't get eliminated!
I'm gonna be honest, I barely paid any attention to this game and my brain cells are grateful. They had to be forcefully subjected to this trek that have killed themselves on the spot. The final Thursday night abomination was one of the games of our time. Prepare for an epic battle of punting beyond our measly comprehension. Oh, what a duel of right legs. The Seahawks were absolute dog shit. Chicago somehow performed Dion's worst. Caleb Williams is out here hero balling in a 1v100 like he's Rambo against the Soviets. He dies immediately. I suggest we treat this game like Fritzl and lock it up in the basement. Only fitting that Caleb does his best Kyler impression and throws a terrible pick to end the misery. Contract both these teams, contract Thursday Night Football, execute the McCaskies for crimes against the sport. Strength of victory, tiebreaker. Second time in 2 years for Seattle, too. Ain't that a bitch?
Miss.
The 18th week of the season, Jimmy Jesus has risen to grace us with his presence. The Rams have nothing to play for since the division's already locked up, so the backups are out here getting some reps in. Even for facing their B squad, the Seahawks are keeping this uncomfortably close for some reason. Their offense showing flashes of elite play but mass inconsistency, and the defense giving up yards through the air en masse. It's a neck-and-neck contest with spirited fight and unwavering resolve. Seattle may think an 8-point lead is safe, but with Jimmy Jesus guiding them to a touchdown, it isn't. Bad news, they're in field goal range thanks to a long pass to Jordan Whittington. Field goal's good, Rams have the lead. But Geno sees the real prize in his grasp. The bonuses to be had if they win. The rallying cry are the dollars that will rain down upon them in victory. And he'll push them with everything he has to a touchdown and retaking of the lead. Yet it isn't over. LA's in the red zone with time winding down. Fourth down is upon them. Roll the dice.
Down in 3 for Garoppolo and the Rams. Garoppolo looking, throws underneath, incomplete.
Of course Seattle wins when there's nothing to play for anymore. Tie records don't matter when you fail to beat the Giants. Nearly dropping the Rams to the 4th seed in the NFC. The real winner today is Geno Smith's wallet, securing a cool $6 million in bonuses for his efforts. 10 wins for the mediocre football team. Huzzah! Not for you, Ryan Grubb. You're useless, get the fuck out. I were to describe the Seahawks in one word, mid. Pure, unadulterated mid. Flashes and signs that things could be on the rise, but keep getting undone by a combination of factors. Mostly at their own hand. Oh no, you missed out on the playoffs because of a strength of schedule tiebreaker? Then don't lose to the fucking Giants. The defense had its moments, but struggled in the early game. But that was never the main concern. Their offense was just so damn erratic. From JSN carrying the team on his back and Gino rallying the troops to victory to the running game doing absolutely nothing and DK going ghost. The repeated impotence pointed to one man, Ryan Grubb. His college tricks were useless in the pros. He can go back there for all Seattle cares. Clint Kubiak showed promise with a healthy unit, so maybe he can finally mold them to glory. Yet even in these times, a sect of Seahawks fans want Gino gone. Yes, he has his flaws and is in his mid-30s. But who are you getting to replace him? There's no one available that's better. Smith is an upper crust, but he is a serviceable starter. Did you see how bad Sam Howell was? You trust that? Unless you can somehow find another Russell Wilson out of your ass, the solution is to bolster and push on. They're doing enough as is. Just keep the focus and playoff contention will be in sight. Anything to avenge past mistakes.